to Stories of Us. My name is Eric Valentine. I am the People to People Program Manager here in King County. Welcome to Stories of Us, where we transform the narrative of the American veteran by adding more stories of us. Through telling our stories, we heal, we connect, and we create change in all those who bear witness. With us today, we have Jason Nuñez. Jason, tell us about you.
Thanks for having me. So I'm Jason Nuñez. I'm the founder and CEO of Go Digital Hero, which is a virtual assistant company, US based, LGBT owned, veteran owned, minority owned, currently out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm also the executive assistant to the executive director of Minority Veterans of America.
Awesome. Thank you. So tell us the story of you. Where, who, and what made you what you are today?
Yeah, so the story dates back to 2003. Well, that's when my life really changed by joining the military, but we'll get to that. Who I am, I'm the founder and CEO of a company. I am who I am today because of my mother, and I can say that wholeheartedly and in full transparency. The one constant in my life, unwavering, whether support, love, affection, swift kick in the A, and definitely the discipline was definitely my mom. Growing up in a very Roman Catholic family, Hispanic family, there was that structure. So I owe a lot of what I know and my way of thinking, my way of processing things to her. Into my life as adulthood, during the military, I was a religious affairs airman, and we'll get to the military experiences here shortly. But what is really important and what got me grounded in my adult life to where I am today is MBA. So it was about 3 years ago when I was working at the State Department as a government contractor. And I had a coworker who was very involved with MBA and just super persistent about inviting me to things, but I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to get involved in something else until the one day that I did. And I ended up in Richmond on a supply drop. And it was the immediate connection that I had with MBA and the other MBAers, and the community and the advocacy that work that we do, that I really found a home. I really found belonging. I found a purpose. For years, even serving in the reserves, there wasn't really somewhere outside of my physical home and of course with my family that I felt like I belonged to, that I felt like it was something that I can get involved with, have the passion for, and to be able to support to where it affects change. So MBA is definitely a huge passion of mine. Many folks kind of ask me, if I have more clothes than just MBA shirts and Go Digital Hero, because those are two of my passions and I stay branded at all times. So that's where, who, what, and where I am today.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for telling that. And shout out to the person that got you to come out and show up to our events. That's really what it's about. That's like one of the cornerstones of how we build community. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you because you've been an amazing addition to us. So let's talk about your military and veteran experiences, but particularly of how some of the identities and experiences you hold shape some of your journey.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, in 2003, I joined the Air Force, and that was pre Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I went in open general, not knowing what job I was going to have. At the time, it was right after September 11th, so everything was grab a gun and go. And I was hoping that I didn't get that. But I ended up getting to the career advisor and they were like, security forces is available. And I'm like, great, this is going to be a very short-term military career. I don't want to be a cop. Shout out to cops. Thank you for all those who protect and serve. Just not my cup of tea. So then the second go round at the career office, when I was going to sign for my job, someone came and knocked on their door and said chaplain assistant became available. So religious affairs. And I dropped the pen so fast, I was like, whatever that is, I'll take it over being in the security forces. And there I am. I ended up becoming a chaplain assistant, a religious affairs airman in the United States Air Force. And for the first 6 years, I was active duty at Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii. I mean, somebody had to do it. So I did. And then after that, it was the reserves. But serving under Don't Ask, Don't Tell was um, extremely traumatic in the way that I was never able to truly be myself um, everywhere, in all places, to all people. So I had, you know, Airman Nuñez in the dorms in uniform. I had Airman Nuñez in the dorms out of uniform. I had Airman Nuñez at the office, in the church, in the chapel on base. And then I had Airman Nuñez to the base at large. And then being in a very Roman Catholic Hispanic family, I was also Airman Nuñez in and out of uniform to the family because of the values and the unknowns that come with being a very Roman Catholic Hispanic family. So even after Don't Ask, Don't Tell, those personas still were amplified. And those trauma was still amplified because from going to sitting around the table with primarily white evangelical chaplains who were like, LGBT, no, oh, we can't do anything for them. It's almost like a leper, a plague. But then also sitting at at the same table with the same folks after Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed with, oh, well, let's do bare minimum to get by to say that we can help them. And yet I'm in a position, I'm in a seat at the table where I'm supposed to be letting other airmen who are in crises, who are experiencing trauma themselves, to come and speak to the chaplain. Yet here I am hearing the true thoughts and the true feelings of the chaplain by some chaplains sitting at the table. So there was the conflictingness of trying to find belonging and trying to find that common ground and a space where I can be my true and authentic self. So a lot of those experiences, military veteran and as a reservist out in corporate America, the place where I found belonging and that common thread was MBA. And it's, for me, it was a great day of rejoicing in October 2020 when I was invited to an MBA event. And I was able to interact with the community in a way that built up an opportunity where we saw each other in person, and it was almost as though we knew each other our entire lives. And that's just how Minority Veterans of America is. I mean, you know, you've been longer than I have, and it's one of those communities that whether you join yesterday or you joined 4 years ago, like, we're all family, we're all connected, and the true, genuine, untarnished friendships that are built within MBA is has led me and carried me for the last few years of my journey, to the point that last year, April 2021, I founded Go Digital Hero. And for so many years serving pre Don't Ask, Don't Tell and post Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and then my journey through Minority Veterans of America and the camaraderie and the support that I received there, I can now say that I'm the founder and CEO of a US-based, LGBT-owned, veteran-owned, minority-owned company. So using that experience and the journey to be able to be an example to others who think that they might not be able to do it, hi, we can all get through it with the right community and the right backing. You know, anybody could have friends, but it's a matter about having the right friends and the right relationships. So my identity today is one of founder and CEO. I'm a minority veteran advocate. I'm a dad to two fur babies, and I'm a husband to one. And I could not be happier.
Nice, and that's just a really remarkable journey, and I really appreciate you sharing all of that with us. I think one of the amazing things that I do love, it's a little bit tragic, but like we there's bits and pieces of everyone's story that we have all heard before, right? And it's nice being in a place to where you don't necessarily have to share that story. Um, to for others to get a sense of understanding, because right, like we all have, like, we're all here for our own reasons, right? And like we've all, our identities have all shaped our journey a little bit differently, right? But there's a sense of commonality there, so it's nice to be in a community where you don't have to explain to somebody why you exist, or who you are, and that's amazing. That's the thing that I love. And so going to our last question, why do you think it's important for us to tell our stories?
Well, I mean, the common phrase heard is like, you don't know what you don't know. And what's not talked out is acted out. I think it's so important for us to tell our story because it's ours. There may be many folks who have stories like ours, but all of our stories are ours. Each are unique. Each have um, their own passion and truth to it. So we're all storytellers, and it doesn't matter if you've rehearsed and you have this perfect performance of a story, or you're just blurting out words, but talking is important, and telling our story is important in whatever way it is and it means to you. And the way you get community and the way you can get support and the way you tap into those resources that are out there, we are out there. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Just tell your story. We are here. We are there. We are with you. It is extremely important for us to tell our story, because if we don't, um, not necessarily causing harm to anyone, but there's an education piece that we can offer by telling our story to those who don't know us, who don't know our movement, and who don't know the truth of our experiences, of our life, our journey.
That's awesome, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to everyone that is watching out there. And as a reminder, we will be doing our first ever live storytelling event on November 12th at 7 at Highline College. Don't forget to register. There's going to be food. It's going to be an amazing event. Until then, thank you all very much.